All right, good evening and welcome to this special date and time for the Points and Miles report on traveling on everyday spend. I was going through the Bilt rewards information, getting ready for rent day, and was realizing that we have some windows that are opening up as of tomorrow. So I wanted to jump on here and to mainly cover everything that you need to know with Bilt Rent Day. There's a lot of things going on with it this month that I'm really looking forward to going through with you, as well as a few other items that have happened since our last live stream. So why don't we just get right into it real quick here. Now, as far as the credit card offers, there's not been much change that we've had since our last live stream. I'll just highlight a couple of items just for anyone that's new. If you are looking at any United Airline credit cards, they are basically the offer is ending soon on all four of their credit cards, the Gateway, the Explorer, the Quest, and the United Club. If you are interested in any of those, you really are going to want to pull the trigger on those at this point. If you're not familiar with the cards, the Gateway is the no annual fee credit card, so you're basically just getting it to get some United miles, but really are not really a loyalist at all to United. The United Explorer is a nice sweet spot with the card because of the different features you get with the card. Everything from the points that you're getting as well as to the 2 United Club lounge passes. You're also getting credit on your TSA pre-check or global entry or Nexus, as well as some other features that are worth looking at. The United Quest is for the person that is looking for to get to status, picking up some of those PQPs. And then lastly, the United Club, you're getting that if you are a loyalist and more importantly, you want to be able to access the United Club since that's included. The Marriott Bonvoy cards just came out last week. So we do still have some time on that, even though we don't have an end date. But if you are looking at Marriott, there may be a nice spot either for the Bonvoy Boundless at $95 annual fee, but even also the Bonvoy Bold at no annual fee. Getting that 60,000 points plus the one free night is something that should be really considered if you are even looking at Marriott. And then IHG, I've mentioned that the IHG One Rewards Premier card is my favorite of the hotel credit cards. You're getting 170,000 points for a $99 annual fee card and getting the Platinum Elite status, which is opening up some other features for you. And then, of course, if you just want to get your foot wet, you can end up looking at the Rewards Traveler card at no annual fee, getting 100,000 points. So those ones have just started, so you don't have to feel like you're rushing. The World of Hyatt credit cards, those are going to basically look through March 6th, at least for the personal is the last date that I saw. But if you're interested, take a look at those. And then as far as points and miles opportunities, there'll be links in the description for all of these, but I'm just going to highlight on the 2 new ones that I've seen. One is Alaska, where you can earn 25 Alaska miles on every dollar spent with 1-800-Flowers as well as Harry and David. Valentine's Day is coming up, so I'm sure that's part of the reason. There is a promo code to use of AKA4, but there is no published end date on this at this time. And if you want to look at doubling up the opportunities, make sure to check your offers if you have an Amex or a Capital One or a Chase card, but be careful of trying to do that within the portals though. Trying to do that through a portal may nullify, the promo code may nullify that versus just being able to use the card and there's an offer on the card. So be careful with that. And then Air Canada, you can buy Air Canada points with up to a 30% discount. It does run through February 18th, so no rush. And that 30% is tiered, so 2,000 to 9,000 points, you won't get any discount. But 10,000 to 19 at 15%, 20,000 to 75,000 at 20%, and then 80 to 95,000, 25%, and then lastly 100,000 and up will get you that 30% to make it valued at 1.7 cents a point. As we always talk about, any of these type of bonuses and extra points are just sweeteners. This is not a groundbreaking purchase that you're doing on this, but it is competitive. So only if you're needing it necessarily is probably the only reason to look at it. And so the other ones that we have from on here are ones we've talked about. And like I mentioned, I'll have those in the description for you to be able to look at. And I want to first thank Matt. Howdy to you as well. Does the tidbits daily information, or sometimes a lot of times, really keeps a lot of people up to date on the news on the daily. And so really a good content creator. Really appreciate you stopping through, sir. And Mr. Cole used to have a ton of LF this past year, but I rather save my points for Alaska Virgin and Fame. Otherwise, I'll use them. Yeah, I completely agree with it. Saving those for those makes perfect sense. And they are on sale all the time. That is completely true. So I'm glad you were able to share that as well. And then does Capital One in Alaska have a promo in this promo stack? So the Capital One ones are touchy because most of the ones that I see with Capital One is where you have to go through Capital One's portal. But every now and again, and I've looked through there when I was looking at Viator for some on Capital One, every now and again, you will get some ones that are just tied to the card and that you don't have to immediately go through the portal. So it's a touchy situation with Capital One. More times than not, it's probably not going to work, but I definitely want people to at least take a look and make sure, because if you are going to be spending some money, it's well worth taking the shot. But that would be the issue that I see with it. And tidbits being worked on at the moment, of course. Now, as far as this, want to hit a few quick notes that I've seen. The MGM Grand Las Vegas, they've announced a $300 million renovation that's going to be completed by December of this year. And there's about 4 main categories that they're working on. They're going to be updating rooms with warm gray wall coverings, updated media consoles, modern TVs, new refrigerators separate from the minibar, upgraded bathrooms, as well as new blackout curtains. And so that's kind of what they're doing with the room. So it should help it a lot. It's obviously has had some aging, so being able to do that investment makes good sense. They're also going to be adding 111 suites to the hotel. And then they're going to have a restaurant, Netflix Bites, that's going to be opening on February 20th. Full service restaurant, but with a theme of, from the menu to the setting, of some of the most popular shows that are on Netflix. Stranger Things would be a perfect example. Then they're going to have a day club that's going to be opening, the Palm Tree Beach Club. It's going to be 60,000 square feet, and it's going to be able to accommodate 3,000 people. So it's an interesting step that they're taking. But day clubs in Vegas, if you've never been there, especially as it gets into the spring, let alone the summer, the more popular ones can literally be jam-packed, especially on the weekends. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of pool they can get. Then we have the Admiral and Flagship lounges that are going to be opening up in Philadelphia, and that is slated for this summer. Now, we don't really have any information other than design aspect on both of the lounges, but I have not necessarily seen what features, if there's any special features, and the square footage as of yet. I'm hoping that I will see that by the time that we do our next live stream. Question that normally comes up when it comes to these lounges: what about Charlotte and Phoenix, which are major hubs for American? And right now, from what I've been seeing, is that there are no plans for like the flagship type of lounge, mainly because both of those locations are focused on short haul international as well as domestic, and so there's not enough long haul activity to justify it. And you could think of, for United, that you don't have a Polaris lounge in Denver, and for Delta, you could think of the fact that there's not a Delta One at Atlanta, Detroit, as well as Minneapolis. So something for that. And then the last item would be, for the quick notes, are the flight attendants for Alaska. Most of the flight attendants for the major airlines have already ratified their contracts. Alaska's been one of the last ones. They had their first tentative contract back in June that was rejected, and for that, that was going to be a cumulative average of a 32% raise over the length of the contract, and then it would include boarding pay increase and retroactive payback all the way to 2022. Did not see necessarily what that dollar amount may look like for something like that, though. And then they made changes in the current contract that is now being considered and will most likely get ratified. And basically what all they did was they increased the boarding pay a bit, as well as adding increases to pay premiums. So if you're a flyer of Alaska, for a group of for the flight attendants that were looking at potentially striking last year, it looks like that part is going to be getting addressed shortly. So now let's talk about a Marriott Bonvoy devaluation. We've been talking about devaluations lately, which is not surprising as we are here in the spring. And this one is credited to View from the Wing, a really good blog site. And they reported that the unpublished cap that we are normally used to seeing when it comes to Marriott on maximum points you would pay per night looks like it's been lifted. Except for the Ritz-Carlton Reserve properties, the cap has normally been viewed at being at $150,000 per night, and that's before you would get to the fifth night free that you can get if you have elite status. Well, he basically found that a rate for the JW Marriott at Masai Mara that had gotten as high as 224,000 points, as well as the Ritz-Carlton Maldives has gotten to as high as 198,000 points at times. So they've definitely something to note. Now, the good is that these are limited examples that were identified. And from reviewing other locations, there's not really significant changes that they saw from that. But although these are just a few limited examples, they are worth noting. The key is that the cap appears to be gone, so we may see a lot more volatility, especially on the upper end resorts like they identified. So as you start looking at the booking Marriott, do not be surprised if you're looking at some properties and you see that it's crossed that 150,000 point barrier. And then let's talk about Qantas points and what to do with them. As I mentioned in my last live stream, I still have 125,000 Qantas points. And we've heard that there's going to be a devaluation of Qantas beginning in August. So we have a lot of lead time. So I was starting to look at what could I do with those points in this window. And so I wanted to share these with you as well, just in case if you may have some Qantas points. So the best redemption that you could do with the Qantas points is essentially what I already ended up doing, which is flying first class on Qantas, especially on the A380. You can be at a range of anywhere from 102,600 miles to 189,800, depending on where you're leaving at from the United States, or London Heathrow would be potential options. A couple of other ones that I thought were interesting that I wanted to share is US to Israel on El Al, flying from Boston, New York City, or Newark, 37,800 miles one way in economy, 70,800 in premium economy, and 90,000 miles in business. We've talked about El Al before as Israel's flagship airline, and obviously the biggest things are the fact that the only airline that is actually equipped with being able to address surface-to-air missiles, heavy security personnel, regardless of whether you're in Israel or wherever El Al is actually located at. I just think it might be a very interesting experience. And then for just the very common basic situation, American Airlines, short round-trip flights under 600 miles, which would be an example of going from Miami to some Caribbean locations, only 16,000 miles round trip. So definitely something that you can do with the points. As I mentioned in the thoughts here, there are limited sweet spots for Qantas. It's not the premium point transfers that you would normally do. I definitely went in with my eyes wide open. I knew that this was a possibility. I was trying to buy, basically use my points to buy from going from premium economy to business, and it didn't work out, but that's okay. So I'm definitely still on the hunt of what to do, but I'm just thankful that Qantas gave us enough heads up where we can figure out what to do all the way before August. So I wanted to make sure to pass that on to you. And so now let's talk about February Bilt Rent Day. There are a lot of different events and activities that are going on. The transfer is not not the best you'll ever see, but there's a lot here for a lot of people. So let's go and start talking about it. So let's start with the basics. The multipliers are normally 3x for dining, 2x for travel, and 1x for everything else, including rent. But on rent day, we get all of that doubled to 6x on dining, 4x on travel, and 2x on everything else, but of course not on the rent. Make sure to have that 5 transaction minimum. For me, I always make sure to do my 5 transactions all on rent day, to try to maximize that and at least get the 2x on some utility purchases that I end up doing. February 1st, it's 24 hours from 12 a.m. to 11:59. So even if you're out and about on the 1st, maybe you're at the bar or some other restaurant, know that if you're doing it after midnight, you can already start doing that. Bonus points, earn up to 1,000 for ones that have had Bilt for a while. We know that is definitely a drop, but it's still a no annual fee card that could end up getting us some points. And I see that Matt ended up saying lengthy lead up to devaluations are better than no notice devaluations. Correct. Completely agree with you, and I'll take it where we can get it. So as we know that Bilt always does a rent-free game show, and so for this one, it is by J Balvin. He's a Latin music star, Grammy Award winner, and going to be with the Bilt founder, Ankur Jain. The game is already open. You'll need to play by 3 p.m. on the 1st, Family Feud style game. Top 10 will be revealed at 4 p.m. on the 1st and become rent winners up to $2,500 on your rent. The next top 600, or it might be 500, not totally sure about that one, will get additional Bilt points. I think it's 500. Then on the complimentary fitness add-ons, this is sometimes a forgotten thing. It is not related to rent day. It is available to you all the time. These are add-ons for neighborhood fitness classes that you book through Bilt, not just on rent day. So at Y7 Studio, you can get a free mat and towel rental. SoulCycle gets you the free shoe rental and a bottle of water, and Cycle Bar gets you the free shoe rental. So just want to make sure that we don't leave anything on the table. Now, as far as our transfer bonus, we have Avianca Life Miles. You can get up to 100% transfer bonus on this. So based upon what tier you're at. So 20% if you are at the starting level of blue, 40% if you're silver, 50% for gold, and then you make the big jump if you're platinum all the way to 100%. You do have to make sure that you already have a Life Miles account. It's very easy to open, so make sure to do that first if you're going to be looking at doing this. You can transfer in increments of 1,000 points. Unless you're a blue member, then it has to be in increments of 2,000 points to qualify. So that's what you'll need to end up doing for the bonus. Now, they also have private dining. This is a kind of a new feature for this rent day, and they've kind of partnered through Open Table. Unfortunately, unless you're in the New York City area, it's really just for some New York City specific locations. Prices start at $75 or 5,000 Bilt points. Now, the sale will basically start for that as of 11:50 a.m. tomorrow and go through in noon for everyone else. So I didn't necessarily see the restaurant locations for that at this point. I kind of left that one alone. But if you're interested in the area, definitely look to check on your Bilt app. And once again, Platinum starts at 11:50 noon for everyone else. And then as far as the J Balvin, he's got tickets for his Back to the Rayo tour. It's for 2 tickets to the show plus Colombian coffee. Now, all the proceeds are going to his nonprofit, Vibra in Alta. It's focusing on uplifting people through music, education, and connections. The package price is $200 or 10,000 Bilt points. The package is valued at $400. Now, package sales are going to begin at noon on February 1st. There is, and that's for everybody. And so the Platinum doesn't get any additional starting point on that. Now, as far as the dates, March 20th in Atlanta, March 22nd in Miami, March 30th in Brooklyn, April 4th in Boston, May 3rd in Vegas, and May 9th in Los Angeles. So if you are a fan of J Balvin or just want to be able to kind of hear what he's doing, this may be a really nice opportunity at a reduced cost and to go to a good cause for his nonprofit. Now let's look at the Bilt Neighborhood Cafe, which is a new entity essentially. So this low cafe is essentially open. It's on 31 Bond Street in Manhattan. And it's going to feature Marmon's food and drinks as far as you being able to go there. Let's go with the fact that as of January 27th, the first 50 people, all of these are going to basically be people that will have a complimentary black coffee, and it is hot or iced, and classic chocolate chip cookie. That's what will come with it. All you'll end up needing to show is your membership on your app. So January 27th, the first 50 members that go in there from 9 to 6 get that feature. January 28th through the 31st, the same first 50 people per day, 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. But on rent day, it'll be the first 500 Bilt members from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you're in the Manhattan area, you may want to give it a look. Now, as far as the cafe collection, they are releasing a limited edition apparel and homeware collection inspired by Bond Street, where they're located, which is Bilt's home in New York City in the NoHo neighborhood. These are going to be premium branded sweatshirts and handcrafted ceramic coffee mugs, and they are available on the app right now. Merchandise will also be available for a limited time if you are at the cafe. So if you want to rep Bilt some more, they are giving you the opportunity. And then let's talk about the Bilt Neighborhood Dining, which we know about happens on the 1st of every month. This is an all-inclusive reservation. Cocktails and drinks will, when you go to these locations, will be at a member exclusive price. It starts at $40 or 2,500 Bilt points, but it does escalate to, I think I've seen $75 a person. Now the bookings start for this tomorrow at 11:50 a.m. for Platinum members, and then everyone else will be at noon. I wanted to make sure to have the locations there for you so that you can already be prepared. So Scottsdale, Arizona, the West End of DC, the Penn Quarter of DC, Crystal City, Virginia, Inman Park, Georgia, Chinatown, New York, Greenwich Village, New York, Theater District, New York, Gramercy Park, New York, NoHo in New York, Germantown, Tennessee, the N Ward for Texas, and then Superica in Texas. So all of those are going to be locations that are available for the Bilt Neighborhood Dining. If you're interested, make sure you get on it quick tomorrow. These normally do go very quickly. And then we have the Bilt Neighborhood Comedy. They tried this, or did it, I think maybe about 2 months ago. One of our people that normally come on here ended up going to it. I think it said that it was a good show. So this is being worked out between Bilt and Matt Friend, who's an impressionist and comedian who helped curate these shows. It's to feature up-and-coming comedians, but in a different setting than a normal comedy club. Each ticket comes with past food, which would be considered light bites, and 2 complimentary drinks. This is for 21 and up, and it's up to 2 guests. Tickets start at $75 or 5,000 Bilt points. Platinum members, once again, can access these tickets as of 11:50 a.m. tomorrow on the 28th, everyone else at noon. Now, as far as these locations, you got Fetzal in Williamsburg, New York on the 10th. On the 17th, Lazy Bird Cocktail Bar in the Fulton Market District in Illinois. Also on Monday, West Finn's newest culinary experience, Equal Measure in Massachusetts. Monday, same on the 17th, St. Theo's in Greenwich Village. Tuesday, the 18th at 1789 in Georgetown, D.C. Also on Tuesday, Poppy at West Hollywood, California. And then lastly, Locale, Wednesday on the 19th, which is a sister restaurant to the Brooklyn Pizzeria, and that'll be in South Beach. Then we normally have the Soul Cycle ride, obviously, with the 50 different plus different centers, 45 minutes, 10 complimentary bikes per rent day at each of the locations. You can book starting at 11 a.m. On the 28th. Platinum members, of course, gets the 10-minute start at 10:50. One rider will be the winner of having their rent paid for up to $2,500 in that one. If you book, but you cannot make your ride, be sure to cancel by January 31st at 5 p.m. local time to avoid the $30 cancellation fee. What they are going to do this month is they're going to give you a free class of Rumble Boxing, limited locations, same 10:50 a.m. start for Platinum, 11 a.m. For everyone else on the 28th. You cannot cancel this, and the no-show fee is going to be $30. You book this through the app. And the Rumble Boxing is at Alpharetta, Georgia, Chicago, Frisco, Texas, Miami Beach, New York, Washington, D.C., and then West Hollywood. So that is the crust of everything that we got for Bilt. I wanted to, once again, just wanted to make sure you got this information so that you're fully prepared in the morning to be able to pick what works for you. And want to make sure if anybody's got any questions or comments or anything on any of the information that we covered, to make sure that you are perfectly prepared and ready to go. And so I want to make sure if there's anything, and if you're new here, if you found any of the information beneficial, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Trying to work our way to 1,000 subscribers. I think we crossed 700 today. So if it's beneficial, please consider subscribing. But other than that, I wanted to get this in front of you, and I want to thank each and every person for coming on or watching this. And I will make sure to get this up shortly with chapters, and look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you so much.